Hello, my name is Anna Awald, and I'm doing my 10-minute talk on active aerodynamic systems. So first, a brief history on aerodynamics and cars. In 1899, Camille Ganassi was the first to use aerodynamic principles in a car design. His car broke the 100-kilometer-per-hour barrier. In 1914, Alfa Romeo built the Ducati, also known as La Bomba. This had a top speed of 135 kilometers per hour. In 1921, Edmund Rumpler designed the Rumpler Trophy Wagon, also known as the teardrop car. This was the first car to be designed using wind tunnel experiments. And then in the 20s and 30s, Paul Gérard, who also designed the Zeppelin, he created a bunch of streamlined car designs which were adopted by manufacturers like Audi, BMW, VW, and lots of others. However, these cars are kind of odd looking, and given the current economic situation, a lot of people are very hesitant to spend money on a car that looks so different from what they were used to. So most of these cars were considered economic failures. After the Second World War, there was kind of a shift away from aerodynamics. U.S. designers focused more on large, spacious designs. And then at the same time in Europe, even with the smaller roads in Europe, the cars remained smaller, but they were still very boxy and not aerodynamic in design. With that being said, however, there was a focus on aerodynamics within the racing field, and in 1968, Formula One had the appearance of its first wing. This was simply just an inverted airplane wing bolted to the body, which posed a lot of safety issues, but over the next few seasons, as regulations changed and people learned more about the effects of these wings, they were optimized. Then later in the 1970s, there was a fuel crisis that called for more efficient cars, so there was a big optimization in car designs to bring down aerodynamic forces that can make the cars more fuel efficient. Active aerodynamic devices take optimization to the next level. The goal of these systems is to get the best of both worlds when it comes to straight line speed and minimizing drag and maximizing downforce for optimal cornering. These systems are generally heavy and complex, so it's not ideal for your standard consumer cars. However, you typically see them either in motorsport racing or in your high-dollar supercars. The most commonly thought of active air device is a movable wing. The idea here is that the wing can change its angle of attack depending on driving conditions. Under hard acceleration, the wing is in the open or low angle of attack position to minimize drag, and under hard braking and cornering, the angle of attack is increased to add downforce. So as you can see in the Formula One DRS system, this is used as well as in the Ford GT. The Zenvo TSRS takes this kind of to another level with their centripetal wing. This one also changes bank angle with the steering of the car to, in theory, give you better cornering. This is not quite the case since you're really just redistributing the downforce instead of actually increasing downforce, but it's still pretty cool to watch. Another system is the ALA system from Lamborghini. Rather than moving the wings are fixed, but they use flaps at the front spoiler and at the rear wing that in the open position allow airflow under the spoiler and flow into the wing at the rear to minimize drag. And when they are closed, force air under the car and smooth air over the wing to create downforce. Another feature of this technology is you can close one side and open the other during cornering in what Lamborghini calls aero vectoring. It's the same concept as the centripetal wing, which again may or may not actually help when you could just close both sides of the flaps and get max downforce on the entire car for better cornering. A few points about this system is that it saves weight compared to your movable wing design because you don't have heavy hydraulic systems, and they're very fast acting. The flaps can be initiated, opened, or closed in a fraction of a second, whereas the hydraulic wings may take half a second to a second or a lot longer to adjust to the right position. One technology I did find while researching that I've actually never heard of was plasma flow control. The idea is relatively new and still in the very early research and development stages, but the idea is to have high voltage alternating current pass through two electrodes, creating a low temperature plasma. The plasma ionizes the air molecules, speeding up the flow, which would keep it attached, reducing turbulence and therefore reducing drag. This would be a technology to be used on like hyper performance cars that could be used inside bodywork to manipulate the airflow around the car without having any actual moving parts. I did find one company called PlasmaStream, made up of researchers from the University of Notre Dame, that are trying to implement this technology on semi-trucks to improve fuel efficiency, hopefully bring gas costs down for them. Here are my sources, and thank you for listening.